Well, it's a freezing cold Sunday, Ohio morning. I'm still in my pajamas. I look like I just woke up. Whatever. I mean, this is like my 15th video, so we're comfortable with each other by now, right? All right, I'm going to show you guys how to make something I hope turns out really well. I just wrote the recipe a couple of days ago, and I've kind of been sitting on it, and I'm like, you know what? What else am I doing today? It is French onion mac and cheese. So I wanted to make a really good mac and cheese recipe, and so I was writing that, and then I started thinking, man, I used to make this French onion soup dip where I would take cream cheese and mayonnaise and eggs and different things and caramelized onions, and then I would top it with croutons and Gruyere cheese and pour some beef broth on top. And I would bake it, and it was just the hit of the party. Everybody loved it. And I'm like, why not apply that to this awesome mac and cheese recipe I'm writing? Anyway, this is a trial and error video. If I mess up, you're gonna see it. Never done this before. First time. Let's get started. Man, gosh dang. The onions were angry that day, my friends. They got me. Anyway, so dice up 2 yellow onions, put them in a frying pan with 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and a drizzle of olive oil. We are going to caramelize these bad boys. Typically when we caramelize onions, we don't want to dice them, but I figured that would look better, be more efficient, kind of a better delivery method in a mac and cheese dish, so we are dicing them for this recipe. You're going to cook them at medium-high heat for 8 to 10 minutes until they're starting to get kind of brown and clear and soft. Then you're going to turn it to medium-low, and you're going to do that for about 10 to maybe 20 minutes until they are caramel in color. We are caramelizing the onions. I know this seems like a tedious process, but this is a French onion mac and cheese, and you know, good things typically take a little bit longer. Calling yourself a woman doesn't magically erase all of your failures as a man. Now, while these onions are trying to caramelize and they're coming along nicely, I'm going to start getting my cheeses ready. So we're going to start by cubing 1 pound of Velveeta cheese, shredding 1 pound of extra sharp white cheddar cheese, and shredding 8 ounces of Colby Jack. This is also a good time to go ahead and get your water boiling. Make sure you salt the water. When your water's boiling, you're going to add 1 pound of elbow macaroni. Sugar-free is worse than sugar. All right, when your mac's done, just turn the burner off and let it sit in the water. And preheat your oven to 350. All right, now, once your onions are nice and amber and caramelized, I want you to add another stick of unsalted butter to the pan and melt that. Trial and error video, like I said, I went a little overboard with the onions. I'm impatient. I always cook them a little too high because I want to see that caramel color, and did it again. But my family will be eating this, so they will be forced to try it, and they will love it. All right, once that's all melted, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and we're going to kind of whisk it in there, get it a little bit thick, make kind of a roux, caramelized onion roux. Next, we're going to add 2.5 cups of heavy cream and 2.5 cups of whole milk. The arrest Trump stuff is absolute theater. I don't know who's producing it, if it's the left or if it's the right, and to what end exactly, but it's definitely a show, a shit show. And go ahead and add a teaspoon of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of seasoning salt, and 1 tablespoon of garlic powder to the pan. I had a teaspoon of paprika written on there. We're out of paprika, so. Okay, turn the heat off, and we're going to add to that 3 eggs beaten and a cup of full fat, not light, sour cream. Eating fat really isn't bad for you. It's a sedentary lifestyle that'll get you. You don't have to be quiet. Everybody knows I have kids.
Trying to get the milk.
I should have mentioned, because what you're putting the eggs into is hot, there is a possibility it could cook the eggs, so it's best to temper the eggs with a little bit of the hot liquid when you're beating them first. I didn't. I got lucky. Nothing happened, but it's always a good idea to do that. Also, eggs at room temperature, no matter what you're doing.
Oh, no.
Now, I had hoped that maybe I'd be able to do everything in this pan, even bake the mac, but that's not going to happen, or else we're going to have a flood. So what I'm doing is using the method where I put in a buttered dish, this is an 11 by 15, the drained mac And then I'm going to put the cheese on that and kind of mix it in, and then pour the liquids on that. Trial and error, like I said. It's real life. Okay, now I've got the cheese all mixed into the mac, and I'm going to begin now to pour the dairy mix on top and pray to sweet Jesus that it doesn't overflow. Okay, now for the topping, this could be a little bit controversial. At first I was like, I want to do my French onion dip topping that I use with croutons and cheese and the broth, but then I go, wait, that's 2 starches, and I was raised by old women, and you never can do 2 starches. But then I remembered that in mac and cheese, they top it with breadcrumbs, so we're good. 1 bag of cheese and garlic croutons right on top of that bad boy. Now, I suppose if you wanted to, you could probably do the whole, use a rolling pin and a Ziploc bag and crush them up into crumbs, but I really want to go for that big crouton that's on top of the French onion soup. I want something kind of soft to bite into, so I left them whole. Now on top of this, I have shredded 12 ounces of Gruyere. I'm probably mispronouncing it, and I'm going to put that right on top of the croutons. Now to get that true French onion soup experience where we have the mushy breadcrumbs on top, I hope, I'm going to add a cup of beef stock. I have put this on top of a pan before I bake it because my mama didn't raise no fool. I'm going to start by baking this for 30 minutes. I know what I'm looking for on the top and the consistency. If I don't like what I see, it's going to go about 15 minutes more. I have a feeling it's probably going to end up being a 45-minute bake. So. It looks so freaking good. I wish you guys could smell it in here. I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes and cool slightly so it kind of thickens up a little bit. And then we are going to tear into this beast. All right, my son Solomon's going to taste it this time instead of me. So, you ready?
Yeah.
Abortion is murder. Be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're good.
Now keep going.
What?
Is it really good?
Yeah, it's really good.
It's just hot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I gotta try it. Sometimes I think they're just being nice. I have trust issues. Oh man. Mm-hmm. Man, that's the whip. The only thing I might do, I don't know, I like the croutons. They didn't get as gooey as I'd like, but they work. No, this is divine. Maybe a hair more seasoning salt. Maybe I'd go up like a half teaspoon or a whole teaspoon even, but when you're doing something like mac, a starch, you can put a bunch of salt in it and it'll just kind of soak it up. But this is so good.